You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, you know, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Breakfast Club.
Ain't it that? Absolutely not.
Steve Harvey Morning Show. What's the other one? The Time Join the Morning Show.
It's the Time Join the Morning Show. What's that show our mutual friend was trying to swear up and down they played and it was not in Atlanta?
A segment of, I think, the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Cedar's World.
That didn't exist. It doesn't exist. Never heard of it. So, But we're back. Another episode of the Friendship University podcast.
We made it. Another week. Another day, another dollar.
Are they weeks anymore? I feel like weeks are the new days and days are the new seconds because time be flying. I feel like mind you, we've seen a lot of each other these past few days, but I feel like we just recorded like 3 days ago.
Honestly,
So years are probably like the new month. Months are the new weeks. Weeks are the new days. And then days are the new hours. So, and hours are now the new seconds because time just be booking it.
Not it's an illusion. I mean, you won't be able to tell season from season and day to day.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to think about what these last 7 days have been. We have seen a lot of each other. We went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Woo-wee. Such a good film.
It was very good. Very emotional.
Yeah, and I really like Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like it gives this kind of really different experience than other Marvel films. It's just kind of like, yes, the other Marvel films are experiences. It's like, you go, you know you're going to get action, you know you're going to get like a whole bunch of terrible dialogue. But I don't know how to explain the difference in the experience. It's just like the music is always different. The soundtrack always takes you back to a particular space, a particular time that somehow perfectly fits with the moment that they're in. Yeah, it's just like a story of the forgotten, but they're still prevailing. So, and I think also too because they don't have a lot of films out.
That's the third one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do all the not yet, but they don't do all the prequels and the dialogues and all that jazz. So,
also storming.
It's not to say, oh yes, you all may hear some thunder and lightning. We don't have any control over that, so just get over it. And
that is what it is. But yeah, that's a great movie. James Gunn's a fantastic director. I'm very happy to see he will be taking over DC because what the fuck was the DCEU? Aside from Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman. That was probably one of the only good ones out of the entire DCEU. So, no disrespect to the actors, Ben Affleck and Chris Cavill, Henry Cavill, and Jason Momoa, tangent on that. Don't fight me. I don't get the Jason Momoa thing. It's not for me. I don't know.
Like
everyone.
The appeal?
I mean, he's a great actor, but like as like a sexual
The sex
thing.
appeal?
Everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, Jason Momoa could like
saying.
snap my back in half." I'm like, I would rather him like not look at me. I don't think he's ugly. He's just not for me. But anyway,
Get it.
only reason I bring that up because I watched Aquaman with some people a few days ago, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's so fine. Oh my god, I love Jason Momoa." I'm like, I guess.
He's kind of like that. He gives that like Hardwick vibe, like how you see him when you don't see him with his shirt off. He's kind of okay, but then you see him with his shirt off, and it's like, ooh, hey, save me.
It's not save me. Not I'm a damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress. So I get it. You know, they cast the heartthrobs or whatever. So
Maybe that's the problem. I'm not a damsel in distress. My wallet's in distress.
should.
My wallet's a damsel in distress.
well,
but
you need to become one if you want to get a Jason Momoa to get it out of distress.
maybe Chris Evans.
See, yeah, a lot of people think Chris Evans is attractive, and I don't think he's unattractive either. But yeah, it's just like that traditional, you know, like model-esque,
Right.
what we've seen growing up. So that, and then Mother's Day, which was beautiful. So glad that I got the opportunity to spend time with my mom and my sisters, and my nieces and nephews. That was a perfect time. And yeah, just work. It does feel like we just recorded. I don't know, man. I'm getting ready to go to a music festival. I'm tired.
Because you refuse to take a trip with us. You don't want to take no
I
vacations.
do want to take a vacation. I take vacations as I can. And that's not to say someone who doesn't take vacations. Because I do. I just, you know.
You'd be out here
It's
working.
been a long time. I mean,
Which is nothing wrong with that.
I just took a vacation. The last true vacation I went on was Mexico. That was maybe like 6 or 7 months ago.
That's fair.
So I'll be going. I wouldn't constitute this festival as a vacation because we will be jumping from stage to stage and seeing music. Yeah, we'll be chilling and it'll be a vibe. But
Music festivals aren't
I'm
vacations.
not gonna
You don't
be
get to
chilling on a
rest.
beach, tanning, not doing anything. You know, letting the little Copacabana boy come over and rub sun lotion on my back, sunscreen. So I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it.
Who's the? Because I know you're indecisive. What are 2 acts that you were excited to see?
There are a couple of people on there. I could tell you right now. I don't even have to have 2. There's one particular act that I have never seen, and they're one of my favorite bands, and that's Paramore. So I've never been able to see a live show of theirs, surprisingly, and I never thought I would be able to because you niggas bought all those tickets when they announced that they were going back on tour, and I refused to pay that resale price, and they're going to be one of the higher up acts on the lineup. So I am excited to see everyone else, but Paramore is definitely number 1 on my list.
Fair. Hell yeah. That's exciting.
How have you been?
Let's see here. This past week, which we've established has been a few hours ago. Not also busy. I'm good. Also busy. Saw quite a few movies in the past few days. Guardians of the Galaxy, as we talked about. Fantastic movie again. Definitely. I mean, if you want to see it, go see it. But I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you have to see this. It's not that level, but it's still good. We also watched John Wick 1 through 3 on Saturday, which was really fun. We did something else on Saturday, I feel like. Where was that at? That might have been it.
That was Friday. We went bowling.
Oh yeah, so we went bowling as well. Then tonight we also went to Guardians of the Galaxy. Then we also saw John Wick, or we watched the John Wick films. My first time seeing them. I think you've seen them, but it's been a little bit.
I have seen the first 2. I had never seen the third one.
Got it. I get it. I not only as a movie, like not only as a movie genre like series, it is a really good series. I love Keanu Reeves. He's a fantastic actor. I heard he's a really, really nice person as well. So extra points on his board. But I get it. Because the way beating me is one thing. Whooping my ass, I will be annoyed and a little angry. Sure, absolutely. Who wouldn't be angry at getting their ass beat? However, like, if you hit my animal, you can even take the car, honestly. Because I can file an insurance claim on that.
I honestly think the dog sent him over the edge.
The dog was
if
it.
They would have just taken the car, I think we wouldn't have had a movie.
I mean, he would have been pissed, of course.
He would have been pissed.
Well, actually, you say that, but I think in the third one he went back to it was the second one. He still was looking for that car.
Oh, because now the deed is done.
That's right.
Now I'm coming for everything that's mine.
Right. So I get it. I fully understand where he was coming from. I always thought it was kind of a silly plot to be like, so let me get this straight. A dog was the reason he decided to kill
everyone. And once you saw that
but now
dog,
I get it.
you was immediately like...
He was so cute. Oh my gosh. He was so precious.
You were immediately like, I wish I didn't know he was going to die.
It was so emotionally attached to that animal. He was only on screen for 20 minutes.
Maybe that. Yeah.
And then yesterday we watched John Wick, but I'm sorry, not yesterday. On Monday. So no, that was yesterday. Yeah. Sorry. Days, months, hours, years. We watched Jennifer Lopez's
as John Wick.
It was Jennifer Lopez meets Liam Neeson's Taken meets John Wick's universe, I guess. Yeah. Not a good movie. However,
I won't say
Jennifer Lopez, baby, I don't know whose blood you're drinking. I don't know who lamb you sacrificed. I don't know what you're doing, baby.
That's what happens when you drink your water, you mind your business.
That's all it is.
Pay attention to what pays you. I didn't dislike the movie. I heard raving reviews about it, and I can see why, because you could feel some kind of way about them trying to make her an action star. I get it, but I mean, at the end of the day, I get it, right? It's like a mother's love never stops, even if they're not present, even if they're not even a part of your everyday life, right? So the one thing that gave her purpose was her kids. So
the themes were great. I just feel like the pacing was weird. Like they really they started you on level 100 and then brought you down to level 20 for a solid hour and a half and brought you back to maybe a solid 4 or 5 energy. Like you can't go high, then go super low and then come back medium. That's weird. And it was a good movie. The themes are cute. I think Jennifer Lopez did a good job of what she had.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was wild. There was a lot of wild shit that happened. But mainly in the beginning, it was the first 45 minutes. All the interesting wild stuff happened. And they're like, okay, time for plot development.
Everybody's dying.
It was wild. But anyway, that was that. But I'm doing good. I go back to my job tomorrow. So back to slave labor.
You had a nice little time off, some vacation.
When can I be off forever? Minus outside of the idea of losing my job. I'm ready to be rich. I bought so many scratch offs. I put a 20 down on scratch offs today. I'm ready to stop.
It off yet?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
I made half my money back.
Okay.
I got $10 back. But I'm tired of working. I wasn't built to work. Let's just go ahead and just take a moment real quick. I just want to make it normalize the idea of why accomplishing things are super important and feeling proud of yourself and living a fulfilling life is super important. You were not put on this planet to produce. Create, sure, but producing these jobs and these life-sucking things, none of this stuff is what you're meant to do. So if you're feeling a little stressed out and annoyed of working, just keep in mind that you're probably not meant to be doing this forever. And that's kind of where I am now. I'm like, I was put on this earth to enjoy myself, be black, pay taxes, and die. So the quicker I get to do that without having to work, I'm excited for that.
If you made some life adjustments, downsized, you
may
be able to pull that off.
That's not enjoying life.
For some people it is.
Not for me. For me, enjoying life is being on my private jet with my cat flying to Cabo because I felt like it.
Well,
period.
You know what? That's going to require some work.
I don't want to work. You seeing the problem here? I don't want to work.
I see the problem. I see the
But
issue.
I also want all the riches of not working or doing a lot of work. No, I don't know what, honestly, super honest moment, friend. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in my life. I know we talk about this all the time. And we go in this circle of what you know what you do in your life. You want to be a DJ. You want to do this. I don't want to do anything. I think that's the problem. I just want to travel and experience things and meet people, but I can't make money off of that. Well, no, I can't make money so off of that. I still have to either write about it or vlog about it or something. I want to just do it, experience it, and that's it. So yeah, that's kind of where I haven't been in a rut about it. I have been in I'm 27 years old and I still don't know what to do with my life. But I also know people who are in their 70s who don't know what the fuck they're doing with their life. Actually, I would say most people on this planet don't know what they're doing with their lives.
That's tragic. Just we're all, well, you know what?
At the end of the day, we're animals. We were meant to procreate, probably, eat some bananas, and poop, probably.
Not you saying we came from chimpanzees. Well, you know what, friend? You got some time to figure it out. Really
but I also don't, because the world is burning. America has, what's the year is it? We have until next year before everything explodes. We have 1 year. I have 1 year to get my life together.
Well, why would you get your life together if the year's going to explode next year?
Because what if it doesn't explode?
Exactly. So just think about what you want to do. Really do some
nothing
search.
I've already thought about it. Nothing. I want to just have money and enjoy living without having to do any kind of work. Universal basic income. That's all I'm saying. Where is it at?
Not, I am money and money comes to me. I'm a money magnet.
That's it. I'm a money magnet. I'm going to start saying that in the mirror every freaking morning. Play some chimes in the background.
Bowl.
Okay.
Get you some incense. Boom. We're going to figure it out. I feel like you go up and down. You said it yourself. You go up and down. Some days you're like, yes, I can do this for the rest of my life. And then some days you're like, I don't want to do anything. And I get it. It can be mentally taxing and you can get tired, but
I just wish I had like a normal route like regular people. Like some people are like, oh yeah, I want to be a brain surgeon. Like why can't it just be that easy?
Well, see,
why can't it be that simple?
For them, they knew that they wanted to do that, but the route's still not that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying the route's simple, but if I knew like for a fact, like yes, I want to be a lawyer. Of course, I would have to do work to do that. But like I don't even have that.
That's true. It's not guaranteed you would make the amount of money you think you would make on a lawyer. You got to just figure out your own purpose. You got to just figure out your own destiny. And really, really, there are innate likes. There are innate characteristics that everyone has within themselves, and they're not there by happenstance. And you really just have to tap into those and tap into, like, why do I like this? Why do I enjoy doing that? What does this look like? I mean, I told you, you could be a sleep person where they do the sleep studies?
What a job. Can't wait, honestly.
You can go to space. Or not go to space, but be one of those people who test out being in space.
So you want me to be the one.
But you're on Earth. Oh. But it's like a spatial atmosphere that you stay in this room for maybe like 6 months.
That sounds
and they do
like
all this stuff. They make a lot. But from what I have read, I don't know how much they actually make. But yeah, it's out there, friend. Your destiny's out there. We're going to find it. We're going to find it together. I believe in you.
So
I believe the children
I'm so tired. Future. I can't do this.
You can do it. It's going to be fine.
I can't do it. I can't.
As he went on this tirade, we're going to now give advice to other people.
Oh, yeah. So I have my life together, so let's give other people advice.
Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all can anticipate episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays. And, we're just out here trying to be less trash every single day. And in hopes of that, we are hoping that you're learning to be less trash. We're hoping these lessons are helpful. We got a very special prize for y'all next week. Somewhat of a celebration.
You're not winning shit. Like, we're not giving you anything.
It's gonna be a gift.
Oh,
not a giveaway, but a gift. My presence is a
that
gift.
must have come out of your wallet.
But yeah, we're gonna be celebrating something, and we're super excited. So we're putting some things together for you all on that. This week, you already know what it is. You are coming into the auditorium for Confessions 101. That's today's course. We're going to be reading off y'all's interesting takes on life and interesting pieces of advice you're seeking. So, Mika, you want to kick us off or? No? Wow. Okay. Kick us off. Pull this up. All right. So, I don't even know. You, your grace. Whoever you are, girl or boy. Title is Friend Doesn't Congratulate Me, Today I found out that I landed my dream research position in a competitive doctorate application process. I was over the moon, and I've talked to my friends about how much I wanted the job and how nervous I was to hear back. I've applied to a lot of places, and I've had pretty bad luck and been pretty open about the rejections. When I got the acceptance email, I texted my 3-friend group chat that I got the position, and I was very excited. None of them responded. Although one of them is out of town and busy, and another one is very unresponsive in text generally, they will typically call. The 3rd friend didn't even like the message or say congratulations. Oh, girl. An hour later, the 3rd friend sent a message to the same group chat, completely unrelated, and never acknowledged my news. I felt hurt, but figured it might have slipped his mind. I grabbed dinner with him a few hours later and brought up the news as a highlight as we were discussing our days to give him another chance to respond. But he didn't express any excitement. I love this friend, but this makes me really sad and hurt because I've always congratulated him when he's gotten exciting jobs or positions or has cool news to share in general. I feel awkward bringing it up, but how should I address this? I think it's probably worth addressing because I feel hurt, and it's important to me that friends are there for each other through their highs and their lows. Thoughts?
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I normally do, which is devil advocate both sides. You gotta play both sides. There were good people on both sides. So first off, whoever this person is, I apologize that you had that experience. Been there personally. I have had moments where I've texted something or said something or communicated something in whatever form that was, and it was like not disregarded, but it was like overlooked or not responded to. This happens over text sometimes if I'll if I'll say something super exciting or sad for that matter, or like disappointing, or it doesn't happen often, but like there have been situations I've been in a group text or I texted a friend something and like I don't get a response, or I just get a thumbs up if anything, or whatever. And then someone else comes in that's a group chat and they're like, so funny, whatever, and they're like everyone else is hopping on their chain. Been there. It sucks. I get it. It can be very, I was going to say annoying because it can be a little annoying, but more so it can be a little isolating, I would say. Maybe you look at your friends like, okay, do you not give a fuck about me? Like, do you not care about what I just said? Like, I just told you that, like, my leg got amputated, and y'all are all laughing at Sarah's meme she sent after that. Like, what are we doing? My leg is gone.
And it's not even a large group chat.
Right.
It's 3 people.
Now, on the reverse side of it, and I don't mean no disrespect to anybody, or I mean a lot of disrespect to a lot of people. People are one-track minded. Most people in this world, including myself at times, are very much, if it's not directly in their face, they're not paying attention to it, they don't care. So I'm not giving them excuses as to why they didn't respond. They should have, I'm not going to use the word should, but it would have been nice of them to have responded at some point or another. Even if it wasn't immediate, if it wasn't that same day, at some point, maybe giving you a call or sending you like a personal text or whatever the case may be, congratulating you. Right. So I'm not giving them completely off the hook.
There is the one friend they went to dinner with that same night and brought it up again, and they did not say anything.
Right.
Or show any congratulatory excitement.
Right. So again, I'm not giving them a full pass through. I guess there's also a third part, which is a reading, of course. But like I said, when people are one track minded, I'm that way in a group chat. There'll be times where I'll be like in a group chat 1 minute paying attention, next minute I'm like, girl, I haven't seen the past 30 messages. I wasn't paying attention.
It happens.
And especially if you guys are very communicative in that group chat. Like I'm in a group chat right now that has probably like 6 people. That chat be bumping. We be slagging messages. And sometimes there's situations where your message is just lost in the shuffle.
I get it.
But I also can speak to the part about the dinner thing. In the sense of there have been times where like I said something in person and the person didn't seem to respond or care or whatever the case may be. Mind you, the situations I've experienced that in was like group settings, like a party or whatever, where there was a lot of people. And I'm not soft-spoken, but I am soft-spoken in comparison to other people. So there are times where like my voice will kind of be the lower one in comparison to like the people in the room. So like I'll say something and then I'll be like, okay, no one said shit. And then someone else says something like, oh my God, whatever. I'm just like, did y'all not fucking hear me?
Hello.
Okay, so I have gotten into the habit of amplifying, like
Yeah.
raising my voice more if it's something I really want to like, say, because I'll be like, oh yeah, this is, actually I remember one very specific time it came up. I was at a pregame before I went to some bar. This was a year, like when I was like 22, 23. I had made a really fucking funny joke, and that's not me saying it's funny. One, I know it's funny because I'm funny, but I know it was funny because the only person who heard me, who was sitting like right behind, like to my right, like behind me, they busted out laughing, like dying laughing, and they're like, "You didn't hear him? Like y'all didn't hear what he just said?" And then he said the joke again, and everyone started laughing. So there was a situation when I realized, okay, maybe they just can't hear me versus they don't care. However, the situation you're experiencing is a little bit different because you flat out told this person to their face, and they're like,
101.
"Can we get mozzarella sticks?"
Okay. Can I get another Sprite, please?
Please. So, advice wise for this person, my knee jerk reaction would be like, cut them off. They're not here for you. They ain't about you. They're not here for what's best for you. Blah blah blah. But I'm actually gonna say, you've already communicated this to one friend, I believe. Did she say she said she brought it up, but did she communicate how it hurt her feelings, or is that what she's struggling with, or they're struggling with?
No, I don't think they brought it up to them yet. I don't think they brought it up to anybody.
Got it. Okay. So I would say first thing would be to bring it up. Closed mouths don't get fed. People can't read minds. They probably don't know how you're feeling. The answer or response they give you may piss you off. Honestly, they may have been like, "Oh, okay, sorry we hurt your feelings," or "Sorry you feel that way," or whatever. So, results vary. But, just communicate with that person or these people. It sounds like you guys are relatively close enough to be in a group chat. Because I'm not in a group chat, people I'm not close with. Because I will leave it.
I will leave
I will
it.
leave.
Do not add me to a group chat.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Gone. You will just see Malika's left chat. Gone. So communicate with them. Be like, hey, like I've noticed this happen a few times. Like I thought you guys would be more happy for me,
right.
Or whatever. Who knows? It may have been one of those situations where literally they were just being one-track minded. A lot of new games are popping off right now. We got Jedi Survivor. We got Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda or whatever. So people, like I said, people are one-track minded, especially in today's day and age. You got social media. You got your job. You got your hobbies. You got the gym. You got your pet. You got your partner. There's so much going on that there might have been a chance they looked at their phone, read it, and was like, oh, I'll respond to that tomorrow or whatever, and completely forgot. I'm not saying that is what happened, but you won't know unless you talk about it.
Yeah, of course you have to communicate. We're big on opening your mouth and saying how you feel. I'm gonna say this: you have to pay attention to people who don't show up for you.
Period.
Because those are tall tales. If you are at a level now that people can't congratulate you, and you anticipate going higher than that, what do you think they're gonna do when you get even higher than where you are right now? Like. You really got to pay attention to how people respond. And when you have grief, when you have upset news, when you have amazing news, like those things really matter, especially like with me, because I'm a celebrate my people. Like I celebrate strangers all the time. So I'm going to show out for the people I say I love for sure. What I will say is, yes, I can agree to a certain extent that you can get boggled down with especially group chats. I have fallen victim to not seeing something because 30 or 40 messages later, if you're working, if you're doing something, and I'm someone, I'll sit my phone down, I'll start doing some work, I'll start doing other things, come back to it, we 50 messages in. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't never really go all the way up. I may go up about 10, 15 max, but I don't always go unless we are actively talking about something that I know is like important and some gems have been dropped. If it's just everyday chat, I'm not really going all the way back up.
And not.
This is a 3-person chat though.
We're in a 3-person chat, and every time. Well, mind you, I do most of the texting in our chat because I be sending TikToks. But there are times when even our 3-person chat, I'll be like, I'm not reading this. I'll just call and get the cliff notes.
Right, but you still will call and you'll make a note to call and get the cliff notes. Like I am particularly though someone who will tell good news either over the phone or in person. I don't really ever text that kind of stuff. I just feel like it can get lost in translation. But I just feel like you said one person was out of town. Okay, cool. That can happen. The second person sent a message 1 hour directly after, meaning they saw it because there was nothing preceding that. So they just sent the message and ignored it. That's a red flag. I'm just be honest. Like, they saw it and they ain't say nothing. This person you told to their face and still couldn't congratulate you, they're not happy for you, bro. I don't know, whatever you know, girl, guy, whatever. You need to be aware that, yes, sometimes it can be difficult for people to show up for you if they're going through their own mess and they're going through their own qualms and their own heartache and grief. And, you know, they're just down. But at the end of the day, like, it's not going to be no sweat off my brow for me to just say, I'm happy for you. Like, there are people who say it every day and they don't even mean it. So, like,
true.
For that person
to
just...
I'm so happy for you.
Oh, my God, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy to hear that. But for these individuals to just flat out be like, you know what, we're not even going to acknowledge this. I'm going to be real with you. If I had put that in the group chat with you and our other mutual best friend, and then one of y'all sent a message, y'all probably would have got blocked for 24 hours, honestly. I don't even know. I probably would have either called and be like, so you didn't see my message? Or what's going on? Like, I probably would have called. I'd be like, hey, I put good news in the chat, you know? So that's why I agree with you. You do need to tell them, like, hey, you know, I just told you all something that means a lot to me. You know how hard I've been working. I've been telling you about my struggles, about how I was nervous about getting this position and, you know, all of this and that. And I always congratulate you all. It kind of hurt my feelings that nobody acknowledged that. And I personally would ask them why. Because I would need to know that. I would need to know why you felt like you didn't feel the need to respond. They could say something like, oh, I just didn't see it. They could use that excuse. Buddy who you told to their face, obviously can't say that. You really need to understand why they couldn't tell you congratulations. And take
Maybe
it from
they're
there.
not happy for you.
I don't think they're happy. That's what I'm saying. I just don't genuinely think they're happy for you. I just don't. And you can, I'm not saying throw the friendships away. Because like I said, there are, this is where I have the internal battle, because I know mentally someone can be going through something and it can be difficult for them to be happy for you for whatever reason. They could wish it was them. Maybe they don't have what they want to have going on. It doesn't really have anything to do with you personally. It could be a lot of things. I have been there, but I've also been able to open my mouth and overcome those thoughts because I want to be happy for my friends. Regardless of what my mind is telling me, I want to be happy for you. So I'm going to say, congratulations. I'm going to, you know, be there for you and do what I can and be there as many times. Like, for instance, I had someone who was having this internal battle because they had been a bridesmaid, I think, for the second time. And they're like, oh my God, you know, I just don't know when it's going to be my turn and I want to be there for my friend, but it's also kind of tough me seeing the process of them being so happy and going through it. And I'm like, I've never necessarily felt exactly like that, but I have been like, oh, there have been times where I'm celebrating someone's love and I'm like, oh man, that sucks because I just ended a relationship or whatever. It may make you think about your ex or whatever. But I still try to pull on what was in my heart. What's in your heart is going to come out of your mouth. What's in your heart is going to come out of your mouth. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. So regardless of what mentally I'm going through, if in my heart I still want to be there for you, I still want you to win, I still want what's best for you, I'm going to say that. I'm going to do that with my actions. So, you know, I just have to tell them that because I've been a bridesmaid at this point, I don't even know, 5, 6, maybe 10 times. So, and I've never once like gone up at a wedding and been a bridesmaid and been looking at my friend and be like, that should be me. Or like, I'm not going to congratulate them. Or like have a stank face in their photos. Like, no, this is your day. Like, for me, I don't understand people who can't congratulate other people. Like, just
this is why I
congratulate
don't go to weddings,
them.
because I'm a professional hater.
Right, your friends are haters, bro. Like, they're just hating. And I would respect it more if they were to say, like, man, I'm just going through a lot, and I am happy for you. And, you know, but it's just, I got this going on. Mentally, I want to be here. You know, physically, I want to be there. I want this job. It's, yeah, I know you've been working towards this one thing, but I'm also working towards this one thing. And it's just tough for me to be happy for you, but I care about you. And so I'm going to do my best to try to be there from you moving forward. I can respect that, you being honest, because it does happen. It does happen where it's tough for you to show up for somebody because you can barely show up for yourself. So if they were to say that, I could say move forward with it. But if they're not saying anything like that, dead it. Like, let them go.
You gotta go.
They gotta go. Because if you on your way to a doctorate, you ain't stopping. You trying to go higher. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to get even uglier the higher you go.
Yeah, good luck to you. I mean, push come to shove, cut them off. Cut them off today, cut them off tomorrow. Cut them off forever. All right, so this is coming from TAXXXXXX from Friendship Advice podcast. I mean, not podcast, Jesus, that's us. Reddit page. How do you deal with being the villain in someone's story?
Oh.
I am painted out to be the villain in my friend's story right now, and I know I'm not. This is the kind of thing that has always bothered me. If I did something wrong, I'd be the first to admit it and own up to it. But in this situation, I did not. It really bothers me that my friend looks at me as the bad guy in this situation, even though I am not. I think our friendship is over, which is all right with me. However, it really eats at me thinking that this person still holds something against me that is incorrect. What should I do in this situation? Do you have any advice for me? So I've been the villain in a lot of people's stories. I can speak on this. I pulled this one specifically for me. What I typically do in situations where I'm the villain, even though I'm not.
I was about to say, were you actually the villain?
So similar to this person in this letter, I'm the first to admit if I fucked up something. Mm-hmm. I've always been pretty good about owning up to, like, oh yeah, that was me. Oh yeah, I fucked that up. I'm not really much of like I'm not gonna say I'm like not a sneaky person, because I mean I'm a Scorpio sun, whatever the fuck I am, moon, sure, totally. So I do keep some things in my chest, whatever. You know, when I was younger, I was more of I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm gonna keep certain things out of the conversation or the sentence. So it's kind of like a lie. I'm a lot less like that now, like a lot less. Now I'm just like, I just 10 toes down on my bullshit. But even back then, I was pretty good about, like, you know, if I was caught, I'd be like, yep. It was me.
Oh, you got me.
But even in situations like that or whatever, or situations where, like I said, I've done nothing wrong. Yeah. It's just, you know, you had this view or this experience versus I had this experience. Yeah. While they are similar experiences, we've experienced it separately in a sense of, like, this is the way you see it, this is the way I see it. Yeah. When it comes to trying to convince that person you're not the villain, that's not your job to convince them. No. They can feel a way about you. You can't control the way they feel about you. You can give them the facts. You can give them the screenshots. You can give them the timestamps. You can give them the Snapchats and all of it. You can run them down through the entire thing, but because it comes down to feelings. And if that person feels like they've been wronged by you or that you did something wrong, logic doesn't really matter. That feeling is still there. You can't really fix that for them. In the situations where I've been considered the villain, even though I wasn't, when I was younger, I used to be the person to be like, oh, I did nothing wrong. Let me explain it to you. Let me show you why I didn't do it. Like, you know, this is why you shouldn't be mad at me, blah, 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 blah. It's really exhausting. Even if they do end up coming around and forgiving you and they're like, oh yeah, like, I'm sorry, I overreacted, or, you know, I didn't have all the information or whatever. It was very emotionally taxing. It was very emotionally just to go through it, because you're like, this person I care about so much thinks I'm like a piece of shit or whatever, and they don't want to talk to me anymore, and they hate me or whatever, even though I didn't do anything wrong. It can be really difficult. But now, in my great age of 27, because I'm so old, really falling apart here, I don't give a fuck. Point blank simple. I don't have the time or energy or emotional energy to kind of convince someone that I didn't do something wrong. Like, at the end of the day, if you can go to sleep at night and feel good about yourself, that's all that really matters, in my opinion. If you know that your heart of hearts, you did nothing wrong and you did the best you could, and, you know, sure, the situation sucked, but at the end of the day, you didn't do anything wrong and you feel morally good about yourself, that's it. Go to sleep. Live your life. Don't let it eat away at you. If this person wants to hold a grudge against you, let them hold their grudge in their corner. You don't have to be the one to try to mend the situation. You don't need to be the one to try to fix it and, you know, make everyone happy, blah, blah, blah. That's not your job. It's not your job to fix people. It's not your job to be their therapist and walk them through their emotions and stuff like that. You know what's right. You know what you did. And if that person can't accept that, I mean, I would say it's probably one of the situations where you need to take a step back from that relationship. I'm not saying leave it fully, because they couldn't come around.
Did they say they're not friends anymore?
No, they said their friendship is probably close to ending because of it. I'm not saying just flat out end the relationship. I would say just give it some time to simmer down for people to come to their decision more rationally, because most times when it's like, oh, you're the villain in a situation, it is a more emotionally charged thing, probably something more recent that probably happened versus something that's like old. Not saying this can't be something that applies to something that's older. So I would say just let it simmer, you know, take a step back, you know, do some self-assessing, really understand maybe where did you go wrong? Did you go wrong somewhere? You know, no one's perfect. Maybe you did say something. Maybe you did do something wrong and you didn't realize it. Or maybe they took something you did wrong. Maybe they took something you did incorrectly. You can be like, oh, okay, from a certain point of view, I can see where that person's coming from or whatever. But don't let it eat away at you. Just live your life. Eventually that person will either A, forgive you for the thing they thought they were upset about you for. B, they'll probably stop talking to you, which, I mean, probably the best for the both of you. Or 3, they'll come to realize that you didn't do anything wrong. And then, you know, y'all can go from there. But it is a shitty situation to be in. It sucks to be the villain even though you're not the villain. Like Thanos. Thanos isn't the villain.
I mean, that's debatable.
I mean, he's had a point. Thanos had a point.
So did the other team. There's always a point. Each side always has a point. It's just about what perspective you fall into. So I'll say, I think I've only I'm going to say this first. If you're going to have any kind of confidence to get through this life and enjoy it and be who you want to be, you need to get comfortable with people thinking things about you that are not true.
Period.
You need to get comfortable with people thinking you the villain when you're not.
Period.
You need to get comfortable with people making up stories about who you are. Because there's not one person in the world that everybody reveres and has a crystal clear image of. So it's just not possible. Now, it does suck if this is someone who you consider a friend, who you feel like should know you and know you're not capable of that. I've had a situation where I ended a friendship and I got painted out to be the villain. And it's crazy because that person actually was the villain. But I just let it go. What do I need? When I was like, man, should I address this? It was like an immediate, it's probably Holy Spirit, I don't know. It was like an immediate, why do you even feel the need to address it? What are you hoping to gain from trying to change the narrative? What is the why behind it? So I think if this is someone that you want to continue being friends with, and I don't even know if I would advise that, to be honest, you would just need to have a conversation with them about why they feel the way that they feel. And that's the thing about feelings, right? They're not facts, but they are that person's reality at that time. Mm-hmm. So you can acknowledge their feelings and you can be like, okay, I understand this is how you feel. And now if you could just, once they calm down or you all come to a point where you can have a civilized conversation, it may be time to ask them, why did you feel that way about me? Or for me, it kind of ties into individuals who feel like they can accuse you of something that maybe deep down they know you would never do, but they'll still do it anyway. And then it's like, one, what would make you ever think I'm capable of doing something like that? Mm-hmm. And then 2, why do you even want to be my friend if you feel like I'm capable of doing something like that? So I don't know what this person is telling other people that you're the villain in, the villain can mean a lot of things. So it could be as small as they hurt my feelings to as large as they ran over my mama. So
I mean, if you ran over their mama, maybe
I
you
mean,
are
it
the
could be
villain.
a lot though. What if your mother jumped in front of the back of my car and I didn't see her? Now I'm the villain.
See, it's all
It's
about perspective,
perspective.
right? Because
It's
she was outside,
perspective.
all she saw was you, a mama on the ground, car on top
All
of mama.
she saw from the porch was me backing it up, and now
Mama
got thrown off the train.
So it's all about perspective.
So,
also,
yeah.
I was gonna interject real quick. I also feel like it's a slippery slope trying to convince someone that you're not the villain, because that's a really big power difference in the sense of you're giving all your power to this person because they're like, oh, I see that you feel bad about whatever. Even if I think you are the villain still, I'm going to keep running it. Like, I'm going to make you do things you probably wouldn't normally do. I'm going to make it extra difficult. I'm going to make our relationship harder or whatever. So, like Kristen said, it's probably best, or like we both said, really, it's probably best to just, one, if you want to talk to this person, be like, tell me why. Explain to me why. And I don't mean just like ask, oh, like, why do you feel that way? I mean, sure, you can ask that. But when he gives you an answer, ask why again. Keep going in. Keep going deeper in that question. Because eventually you're going to get to the source of what's really going on. Because they'd be like, oh, you hurt my feelings. How did I hurt your feelings? Well, you did this. What about that hurt your feelings? Like, you have to really dig in.
Yeah, maybe you triggered me. Maybe you unexpectedly triggered me in some form or fashion. That's why I said, if you're going to ever be comfortable walking through this life in confidence and living out your purpose and doing what you want to do, you're just going to have to get cool with it. First of all, I don't have time to try to prove who I am to someone. I am who I am. And if you have ever called me friend, you know who I am. So, like, let's not try to front like you don't know who I am. That's not to say people can't change or people can fake the funk or be someone that they're not. I'm just saying, like, come on, bro. We don't have to play these games. So, yeah, maybe have a conversation. For me, it would just depend upon how important this person is in my life, what exactly went down for them to have those emotions. And then I would also need to have the conversation about why they feel the need to go around painting me as a villain to everyone else. Are you hoping that other people will not like me? Are you hoping that, I mean, if I'm a scam artist, then maybe you do need to tell people, like, stay away from her because she's going to get you in an MLM.
That's a good point, actually, because in situations where, like, I have been, quote unquote, the villain, they definitely were the kind of people to go around, like, spreading the word. Like, oh my God,
what are you trying to do?
Warning. I'm like, what are you, like, are you trying to, like, completely fuck me over? Like, what's the, like, what I did? Like, what's the problem? I'm confused. Yeah. So, actually, I have an experience with this. I came to my mind just now. So, I had a friend when we were growing, well, we didn't grow up together, but we became friends a little bit in high school. I had a Honda Accord that wasn't a new Honda Accord.
I love my Honda Accord.
It had a few payments on it. It wasn't the most mechanically sound vehicle. Also, did I say high school? I meant like right after high school. It was a car I just had just to get to and from school and stuff. My friend had another car, but he was looking to get rid of his car and buy something different or get something more fuel efficient because he drove a lot. He wanted my vehicle. Because he was like, oh, I'll buy the vehicle off you. I know you're looking for a new car anyway. Like, I just need a car that's more fuel efficient, whatever. I was like, okay, sounds like a cool idea. Let me run it by my parents first. Because the car wasn't in my name. The car was my parents' car. Absolutely. And the car still had a few payments left over. The parents were like, no, like, you need that car. You shouldn't be buying another car right now, blah, blah, blah. I expressed this to my friend. And he took it as, like, I, like, backed out of the deal or, like, I was being deceitful or I wasn't being honest about, like, whatever, because he was super excited. Like, he would bring up the car, like, when we would be at school together or whatever, he would bring up the car, just be like, oh, hey, did you talk to your mom or whatever? Like, I let her know. I'm still trying to get an answer or whatever. So it took a little bit to even get the no. So I can see where the anticipation of, like, oh my God, did they say something yet would be.
But it sounds like you were pretty forthcoming.
I was forthcoming, and I tried to keep it in a sense of, like, simmering expectations. I was like, listen,
Yeah,
it's
this
not
isn't
my
a
car to give
deal.
up. If it
Yeah.
was, I would just give it to you. Not just give it to you, I would tell it to you. If it wasn't, whatever, I would just give it up already. But it's not my decision to make. That, and the car isn't new, and the car also has payments on it. So
Yeah.
why would you even want the car? Like, go get a different Honda Accord if you want a Honda Accord that badly. So
Yeah.
that was the whole thing. I was the bad guy in the sense of, you can't trust him. He's deceitful.
See?
He doesn't follow up on his word. Like, I can't recommend him as like a person for a job because he doesn't follow through. And I was like, it was not that. It's just literally, I could not give you the vehicle. It has nothing to do with anything else, but that's something that was never resolved. I tried to, break through to them. I tried my hardest to mend the relationship, but they were just stuck 10 toes down
They
heard what they heard. So I eventually gave the fuck up. We are no longer friends to this day. I wish them the best. I do. I wish them, whatever. Nothing but the best in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a bad person. Mind you, we were really young. We were like 18, 19, 21, whatever. So we were young, people pre-therapy, people not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Everyone's confused at that age. So it was shitty. It was kind of like, and because we had like a similar friend group, it was definitely like if I was around, you could tell there was like beef a little bit of tension in the air. So that's the situation I experienced. Again, it's just emotionally exhausting, and don't do it. There's no point. There's no point trying to convince someone that you're a good guy.
I'm the bad guy.
Okay, duh.
Yeah. So, good luck to you. Have your conversation, but stand firm. If you know that you didn't do anything wrong and you were honest and the situation is above you, let it stay above you.
And that's it.
Let's see. Okay, I have... Which one do I do? I'm going to take a little turn for a second. And I got this off the lyric date. I slept with somebody at work who I don't find attractive, and now I regret it. These people are also older, in their late 20s and mid 30s. So, whilst, okay, we don't work together generally, and we're not on the same team. We are indeed working temporarily on a project at the moment. He came to my city for a training course, as his base is south of the country that I live in. We met up, and he said I was his type. Oh, that's probably what he said. We met up, and he said I was his type, and then one thing led to another, and I asked him if he wanted me to come to his hotel with him. And first of all, we kind of slept with each other. No, you slept together. He said he feels a connection. So many typos. I'm so sorry, but I don't feel it there. How should I tell him that I don't really find him attractive, or should I not tell him? He's really nice, and he knows that I sleep around a lot, but it feels like he wants more. I have a really
Do you want to go or do you want me to start? Listen, babe. Sweetie. Oh, girl. I know the well has been dry these days. It's not just you. It's everyone. The gays, the straights, the ligabigategas. Everyone is struggling dating right now. And whatever. But under no fucking circumstances do you ever sleep out of someone out of being nice. If they're nice, if you petty them, if they seem down on their luck. If you don't find someone attractive, you shouldn't sleep with them. Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't communicate with them. That'd be fucking rude. But, but you don't need
level of flirtation.
You don't need to be entertaining people you're not into. A few things. One, people have feelings. People have emotions. All that stuff. Ooh. As he already expressed, he was feeling you. He caught a vibe. He's into you. You opened up that door for this situation to come up. Work together. Because before you could have hit him with I'm going to get into that. Before you could have hit him with we're co-workers. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's gone. The boundary there is open. Because you could have used we're coworkers, I don't think it'd be a good idea, or, or hell, I'm just not into you. You could have just said that.
Truth always works.
Honestly. So that's gone. You no longer use the excuse of, we're coworkers to like get out of this. At this point,
you could. I've seen it.
I guess you could. You could at this point, but it would also be a lie.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to lie about it, to go knock yourself out, whatever gets you out of it. But at this point, you just need to tell that person, be like, hey, I'm just not feeling it. I know that's a lot easier said than done. It takes practice. I've never been I'm going to go on a date with someone I'm not attracted to, or I'm going to sleep with them I'm not attracted to. Not me. Not I. For me, I'm not doing it. I've never been that desperate. Sure, there's been times where I've been lonely. There's been times where I've been like, wow, it would really be nice to be with someone right now. But no. It's just not going to happen. To sleep with them. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. Because I'm not going to enjoy it. And then next thing you know, they're hitting me. I've hit my line talking about, oh, what you doing? Oh, I miss you. Actually, I have an experience with this that happened about maybe like 2 years ago. Had someone who came over. The pics weren't matching the in person. It was the same person, but like in person, I did not find them attractive.
A little catfish there. A little filter fish.
A filter fish. In person, I was not very attracted to that person. Mm-hmm. So before they even walked foot into my apartment, I was just like, hey, I'm just not feeling it. And then I closed the door. And then I watched TV. It takes practice. It's really awkward. It sucks. But it's either you or them. And I'm going to pick me every time.
You know what?
Every single time. I will pick me.
You were at the door. And yes, it's... Oh, God.
I mean, it sucked. I didn't want to hurt the person's feeling. Like, I wasn't like, oh, you're fucking ugly. You're hideous. I wasn't like that. I was just like, hey, I'm just not feeling it. I've done that a few times. I've done it with dates. I've done it with people just hanging out. I've done it with people at like bars. It's... Because, again, it's either you or them. Yep. And, yeah, it's going to hurt their feelings at first to be rejected. No one likes being rejected. I don't care if you're used to it. I don't care if you have a tough skin. I don't care if you're the baddest bitch out. No one likes being rejected. It's not fun.
It's not, but sometimes honesty is kindness.
Honestly. So, you're doing them a favor in a sense of they can spend that energy pining over someone who is into them, who does want to be with them and stuff like that. If it was someone who had to have like 2 Appletinis and a rum and coke and was like, okay, I can bust it down for a real one now.
Really sound like happened.
If you have to get drunk or high or whatever to sleep with someone, you're probably not into them. So listen, girl. I know the cobwebs they be building.
I don't think so, because she said she liked to sleep around.
She does sleep around. That was another thing I was going to say. So it sounds like this person is dropping their standards, maybe more than just this.
Maybe she was just horny.
Horniness will get you caught the fuck up.
It will.
Speaking personally. My horniness has led me places where I was like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Listen, that post-nut clarity be getting you back to life. You're like, what? How did I? Who are you?
Snatch it in before it gets
You got
too
to.
late.
That was going to be my advice, NSFW, for this few moments. If you don't get yourself a bunny, a dildo, some lube, and put on some sensual porn and call it a day, because what you ain't going to have me out here doing is sleeping with someone I don't like. I don't have to be in love with you, but I have to at least be attracted to you. I can't be like,
she said, I don't even really think he attractive.
Because now I'm wondering, like, did she enjoy the experience? Was dick too bomb? Now, girl, if the dick is bomb,
no,
you're right. No.
She don't like it.
She could always be like, face down, ass up, and she has to look at him. If the dick is bomb, I guess you can kind of like phase out what's behind you. But no, girl, because his emotions are attached now. In fact, put in your 2-week notice. Find a new job.
Not 2 weeks.
Get a new job, girl, because now it's awkward. Now
y'all
he knows.
on Zoom calls together. He just looking at you. He keying in your DM on Zoom.
And girl, what if you got a big mouth?
What if he has a big...
What if he goes out, oh yeah, me and Sarah got it in last night. And then they can be looking at Sarah like, you got with him? Oh. Okay. So now you're the talk of the town. You're known as the girl who ain't got no standards, who be sleeping with anybody. I mean, it sounds like you don't really care. It sounds like you're in your hoe phase, which there's nothing wrong with being a hoe. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That many hoe phases. I've had a lot of hoe phases, and I have no shame in any of them because I have a lot of fun. But again, even in my horniest moments, I will not ever go the cliff of, a dick's a dick. A hole's a hole. It is what it is. Who's attached to. I've never been there. Now, if it so happens to be attached to someone who has like 7 figures in their bank account, maybe.
I mean, they could be working at a good place. She could be making a certain amount. She could know what he makes in that range.
No,
but even that is still like, you don't want to be with them. So why even have sex with you? You gonna pay me? Now I'm doing sex work?
True. So I think honestly, realistically speaking, you shouldn't have did it. Period. But at this point, honesty is your best policy. Just tell this person like, yo, I'm not feeling it. And if you are too chicken shit to do that, you're gonna have to learn how to do it eventually. It's a very helpful, powerful skill to tell people no. Love it. My favorite thing to do. No, I'm good. If you want to go on the, it was inappropriate, we're work colleagues, it was a lap of judgments. If you want to hold his feelings, fine. But don't go around and sleep with Timmy Turner at the office too, and then he finds out. Now he's feeling extra sad. So maybe you should just be honest. Actually, just be honest. Just be honest. The cat's out of the bag now. Because then he gonna go to so and so and be like, "Oh,
the cat was out of the bag."
Because he gonna go back to Timmy and be like, "Oh, me and Sarah got it in last night, but she wasn't really feeling it. Apparently, she's like, oh, that's crazy. I just slept with Sarah last night." Then now he extra upset.
Oh, you could use that. Be like, "Oh, you got too big of a mouth."
But we're implying that he has a big mouth. But so yeah, I would say, girl, just you shouldn't have did it. I'm not saying sleeping with your coworkers is wrong. I don't think there's. Fundamentally, under the right situations and with the right people, sleeping with your coworker isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be a slippery thing. It can be very legally gray area, depending on what your roles are. But I've never personally slept with someone I've, worked with. I'd like to keep those two worlds completely separate.
Smart.
I don't even date people I work with. Not that anybody I've wanted to work with I've wanted to date, but like I'm not a shit where I eat person. It's not for me. I don't want to work with my partner. Like if we own a business together, that's one thing. But if we're colleagues, you're my manager, or if I'm in marketing and you're in like HR, it's just not. I don't want to. I'm good. What about you?
Y'all can be equals.
Even then, I don't want to. I don't want to.
Smart on you.
I got bills to pay.
I have a very controversial stance on that. Because, and it may not be controversial these days, but I am a no fraternizing type of person in that sense of like romantic endeavors with your coworkers. I have worked for multiple major companies, Fortune 45, 30, 15 companies, where you spend a lot of time with your coworkers in and outside of work because you all like each other. You go out, you go have dinner, you go get drinks, all that often, even on your days off. So I have seen a lot of relationships, and I have fallen victim to being in a relationship with a coworker before. And I had this feeling before that, but this solidified that it just wasn't a good idea. It's not a good idea to do it because 9 times out of 10 it's going to go south. First of all, you want to look at it in the sense of, this is not to say you cannot find your person when you work with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can find your person anywhere.
Yeah.
You can find your person anywhere. But a lot of work relationships are 2 things. It's either a superior taking advantage of a subordinate, or you're together out of proximity. You just spend a lot of time with your coworkers. So it's like, I'm around you all the time. So I could feel like I know you, and then I really don't know you. Or we start working together and one person gets weird. Or I have seen too many failed relationships. One night stands, sneaky links, everything you can name under the sun make a work environment sometimes unbearable for some of the other people around you because y'all decided to get your freak on. So I think the wisest thing to do is just to not do it. I just think especially if you run into someone who is habitual at doing this. Like every time they work with someone, they whip someone, or they get with multiple people at the same job. like they're showing you who they are. So I think I'm not gonna do it unless the Lord tells me this is my person. When I work with them, I'm not gonna. And even then, I may ask him to find me another job or find them another job so that we do not have to work together while we're going through this courtship.
Right. The people I do know who did end up meeting at work and got married, one of them either like left the job and then they started dating, or they both had left the job and they started dating.
Yes.
Maybe like a little office flirty, but it didn't get so serious until they like left.
And you can like, yes, but I have just time and time again seen it, a dumpster fire happen with so many people, and it's just sad to see. You like these people. They're your coworkers. You all still have to work together, and somebody's not being cordial. Let's be honest. Most people aren't mature enough to handle that.
Right.
Like you aren't mature enough to hook up with someone on Tinder and then not stalk their social media profile. So what makes you think you can hook up with someone who you see 40 hours a week, and then maybe they don't want anything to do with you, and now I gotta look you in your face
or more than stand up every morning, looking you in your eyes.
Just you got
knowing I was just blindfolded and handcuffed in your bed last night,
and now you're not texting me back.
Like, so
it's crazy.
It's
Sarah girl,
don't do it. Just don't do it.
You like to sleep around a lot, okay?
And drop your standards. Apparently,
you dropped it. Yeah, I guess my assumption is you all probably went out for a few drinks. You got a little beside yourself because she said she asked him if he wanted her to come back to the hotel.
And she did.
So he wasn't even the one to insinuate it. So
which I feel like is also the reason he's probably like, oh, maybe you like me because you're the one initiated, right? Like
initiated this. You are the one who asked for this. I didn't even ask you to come back to my hotel room. It's a couple of things that be going on with Sarah girl. She could have been horny that night and just let her inhibitions let her inhibitions get the best of her. She could just sleep around the office. Hell, she may have slept with Timmy, John, Luke, I don't know. And she just like, I'm just making my rounds. Or maybe she thought sleeping with him would make him more attractive. I don't know, but it was a bad move on your part. And now you got to just be an adult. You got to put your big girl drawers on, and you need to tell him, I'm not feeling it. I don't want a relationship. I don't even want to have sex again. You may, I don't know. But you don't want to have a relationship. You point blank said that. So you need to tell him that you don't want to have a relationship. I guess the best thing you have going for you in this scenario is that he doesn't technically work in your department. She said they're just working on a project together. So it's maybe temporary. You may not have to like interact with him a lot. And from what it seems like, they don't work in a traditional office where they have to see each other every day. Physically, at least. So you may have that going for you. Leverage it. Just let them know you're not feeling it. Don't answer no text messages. Keep it very professional and move forward. But girl, take a long, strong look in the mirror, because you are the one who's saying that this person is unattractive, not nobody else, and you slept with them. So I'm an advocate for never lay down with someone in the dark that you never want to see in the light.
Period. And also just keep in mind that like anything you do at work is directly tied to your paycheck. So
yeah,
that's my last little bit of little things there. There ain't enough dick in the world that's worth your bills or your check.
Moolah, baby.
But good luck to you, Sarah. So yeah, moving on to our next one. I actually pulled this one specifically for you because I'm very curious. My friend is a Satanist. What should I do?
Is that it?
Oh, no, I'm going to read it.
Oh.
I was talking to a friend online, and she then randomly dropped that she is a Satanist now, after previously being an atheist. Before that, she was Christian. I am worried I shouldn't be talking to her anymore because of her beliefs. I am a devout Baptist Christian. She is also very radical left in a sense of she's very pro-LGBT, Black lives, all that blah 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 stuff. Honestly, this person sounds like a shitty person. Not the Satanist, actually. The Christian person sounds like a pretty awful person. She's like, oh my god, you support the gays, the blacks, the women. I tried talking to them because we debate politics and such, but I didn't mind that because it was nice debating with someone who has opposing political and religious views. But now I'm worried that I shouldn't be associating with her anymore. What should I do? I could really use some advice from my brothers and sisters in Christ.
You choose it because they're brothers and sisters in Christ. So I'll just be honest with you. If you're feeling conviction or you're feeling any kind of pull from what you believe in telling you that you need to walk away, that's what you need to listen to. If you're going to say that this is what I believe and this is who I follow, if you feel the conviction of that God, if you feel the conviction of God, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ telling you to walk away, then I would suggest walking away. For me, it's interesting because I've always been in rooms similar to Jesus in the sense of like where people are like, oh, that's interesting that you're friends, or that's interesting that this, but it's never hindered my faith or my walk. Having studied theology and like knowing specific religions, you hear Satanism and it's like, wow, that's scary. But you just have to walk by what you feel in your heart. So if something is telling you, if the God that you say you serve is saying like, hey, you got to let it go. Like, it's not going to lead you to where you need to go. Because honestly, that can happen with a Christian. I've had friends who are Christians who God has told me to walk away from because I can't take them to the next level. So it sucks. And, you love people and you wish the best for them and you want them to be a part of your life forever sometimes. But listen to the Holy Spirit you say you lean into. That's what I would do. Honestly.
So, for this one, Satanism gets a really bad rap. I am not a Satanist, but I have read their Satanistic Bible because I was very curious.
It's just the love of flesh.
They are very, honestly, respectful people. They care about like your freedom in a sense of being who you want to be and, treating people with respect and all stuff like that. Like, yes, coming from a Christian point of view, when you hear Satan, it can be very like red alarm. Like, that's the devil. That's the worst person ever. But again, that's a very Christian thing. Other religions, I don't think have a problem with it. Right. So, I don't fundamentally think there's anything wrong with Satanism. I'm in the boat of every religion is correct and wrong at the same time, because none of us know for sure. Until we die, none of us are going to know 100% sure what's out there. Period. Anybody can say, oh yeah, like, yes, God is 100% real. It could be 100% real to them, but there's no 100% proof of that until they die. So I try to respect everyone's religions. I try to be very open-minded to a lot of them. I mean, mind you, there are also those who are very radical in those religions where I really can't be respectful. May it be radically Christian or radically, Islamic or whatever the case may be. And similar to what you were saying, like, you just have to like assess that person as a whole, not even just their religion. I mean, there also is a political point like that you brought up, which I'm going to say you sound like a shitty person and not the other person because you're like, oh, they support gay people, they support black people, they support women. That makes you sound worse than the Satanist. Just throwing that out there, because if you were a real Christian, that wouldn't be a problem to you. So I get, especially here in America, where Christianity is our primary like religion. Christianity is not the primary religion everywhere. I think it is very like, it can be difficult for someone in our culture here in America to be friends with someone who's a Satanist because that goes like against what they were raised on. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with being satanic or Satanist. I don't think there's anything wrong with being Christian, atheist, agnostic, Buddhist, whatever the case may be. Again, none of us really know what's going on. If you know what's going on and you can give me proof, please comment, and I want to see the proof. I need to see the numbers. Break it down for me.
I mean, there's proof out there. We've kind of talked about it before, but it's just a respect of everybody. Like,
right. Just respect everybody.
Even drawing down to like them saying they can't be friends with them because of their left beliefs, it just doesn't align with their beliefs. So I would rather them be honest and saying like, I don't believe that, and so I can't align myself with you because that's just to fall into suit with what I believe or who I am as a person. At the end of the day, yes, Jesus did love everyone, and there is a love that surpasses all understanding in that for me. And like you said, yeah, it's a personal choice. Nobody can ever tell me Jesus isn't real because I've seen it for myself. But
it really is a respect thing now because we're not the same. I don't believe what you believe at all.
Yeah.
But we're very respectful with each other. I don't talk shit about her religion. She doesn't talk about shit about my lack, therefore, of religion. Like I said, it can be difficult. And at the end of the day, if you're like, we don't align, like there's no middle ground, like we cannot agree on this, like, and I would say religion and politics are two bigger parts of people's like identities, especially in today's day and age. It's okay to take a step back, separate yourself from that person. Doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make that person a bad person. I would encourage everyone listening, as well as the person in this thing, to do research on other religions. Yes, you can be fully in your, your experience and stuff like that. Being raised a certain religion, of course, it's pretty natural to remain with that religion growing up. But if you don't explore other things, you're kind of keeping yourself in the dark. And who knows, there might be something else out there that really speaks to you. You're like, that really that makes sense. I see where they're coming from. That's what I did. Like I was raised Buddhist. Not raised Buddhist. I was raised Baptist Christian. I had a lot of questions that Christianity could not answer for me. A lot of open doors and things I did not understand that I could not get from Christianity. I did research on Buddhism, Muslim, Taoism, like everything I could, but not everything, but a lot of stuff I could think of. I was like, okay, who has the answers? I've learned that no one really has all the answers. There's things in all of them that you're kind of like, okay, well, that doesn't explain this though, or that explains that, but not this. Yeah. So I'm not saying become a Satanist. Not by no means. I'm not saying go and buy the Satanic Bible, but I would say, if you're open to it, have a dialogue. Be like, oh, what led you to this? What do they teach in Satanism? What do you value and stuff like that? Like if they're like, oh yeah, I value sacrificing goats and killing children, then maybe you shouldn't be talking to this person. But they're like, oh yeah, I value respect and self-expression or blah blah blah. There is middle ground there. I mean, it sounds like the person, like I say, who wrote this letter doesn't want that. They don't want to have the respect and the everyone should be treated with respect, gays, blacks, blah blah blah. So depending on who you are, you may or may not get that, but I would definitely encourage you not to just go full blown like, fuck you, I'm out.
No,
Have an open dialogue, talk about it. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like, okay, when we're together, we're just not going to talk religion. We're just going to talk about sports or Steven Universe or whatever. But like when religion's on the table, I know where you stand, you know where I stand, and then that's it. We're just going to cut it at that.
That's why I personally said, as a Christian, as someone who has declared, and it's the opposite for me. I did the studies in school, in college, for multiple years in other religions, and Christianity was actually proven to be what was true to me. But whatever's telling you, you have to listen to, because if you're going to be in any religion, you're bowing down to something. So if the entity that you're saying you bow down to is telling you that you got to let it go, then listen to that. I would pray about it, and I would be like, all right, if this is what I'm supposed to do, then I just got to follow that.
And also, like pay close attention to that feeling, voice in your head or whatever, in a sense of, is it actually the voice of your higher power telling you to do that? Or is it the social world you live in, where it's like, oh, I was just told that Satanism's bad, so I should hate you. It could definitely be you, being raised a certain way or being in a certain culture where like you were just told over and over again, like, this is bad. Maybe the same way with like being, how you might feel about gay people. You were told that gay people are bad. That's not necessarily true. That doesn't mean it's coming from your Lord and Savior saying, oh yeah, fuck the gays. That probably could be coming from you. So if you're going to lean into that, as far as whatever voice is telling you, make sure it's the correct voice that's telling you that.
I'm assuming if you are this, open and radical about it, that you trust the voice you hear of God. You trust the voice of God, and the voice of a stranger you will not follow. So that's what I'm hoping for you, that you can tell yourself. Because I will say, for me, oftentimes the distinguishment for me is God is telling me to do something I don't want to do. It's not myself. So it doesn't, it's like if this person is asking for advice, it almost seems like they don't want to not be their friend. That's why my first inclination was like, maybe there's something telling this person it just isn't it. And it could be, like I said, it could be anything. I've had people of the same faith that I've had to let go, and it sucked. I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to adhere to what I say I'm going to bow down to and what's going to be the head of my life. So I'm hoping the best for you. This is not going to be your first encounter with something like this. I can tell you straight up, it may not be your first encounter, but it definitely won't be your last. So
if I was a Satanist, would you be my friend?
I don't know. I would pray about it, and whatever God told me to do, I would do that. Honestly.
Noted.
There's nobody higher in my life than God, and there never will be.
Valid. Fair.
So I have another. I think this could be this be the last one, or you got another one?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. So one was, okay, we could choose. There was one where it was in the friendship advice tab, but they were pretty much like saying that they don't know if they've ever had a good friend, and they were asking if people could list tributes or like stories or even characteristics of things they can look for in different people to constitute what a good friend could be. That was one. And then there could be, there was the should I call my friend out for talking behind my back. And
let's do the good friend one.
Okay. So essentially this person was just asking, unfortunately, they seem to not have had good friends or any kind of like sustainable friendships in their life, and they're just wondering why. And so they were asking for people to list what they would constitute makes a good friend. So what do you constitute makes a good friend for you?
Let's start with the basics. Someone who doesn't piss you the fuck off consistently. Like I said, consistently. My friends all piss me off in one way or another. Every single one. Doesn't matter who you are. You probably pissed me off in one point or another.
Well,
like I said,
what level? Okay, consistently.
Like I said, consistently. If they are consistently making you feel a negative feeling, maybe pissed off, annoyed, sad, whatever, probably a sign they're not a good friend.
Yeah.
Again, with any relationship, you have your conflicts. Some days you're doing good. Other days you're like, bitch, I would hit you with a bus if I really had the opportunity to. Like I said, consistency. Like if it's consistent, you were like, I really want to punch this bitch in the face. You're probably not good friends. I would say a few telltale things that are like, we are good friends is, are they showing up? Not just physically, I should say, but are they showing up to celebrate you? Are they there to show up when you're going through something difficult? Are they there when you are going through a life transition? Maybe you're getting married or going through a breakup or having kids or whatever the case may be. Are they supporting your dreams? Are they showing up in a sense? Not like I said, not even just physically. Like, yes, showing up can be a physical thing. Like, oh, you were there for my wedding. You were there for my graduation or whatever. But were you there when I lost my mom? Were you there when I, knock on wood, because I'm not losing my mama.
Yeah, that's wood.
I'll bring her back to life. Whatever. Were you there when like I had my first kid and I was stressed out and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing with my child or whatever? That's a good sign. As far as I would say a good friend, being able to show up and authentically show up at that. Like, yeah, if you can just fill a room. I just came to the wedding. I sat down and had some hors d'oeuvres and I left. Versus like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. This is so cool. Oh my God, your husband's great or whatever.
That includes non-bridal party members.
Right.
Everybody who's a great friend is not in the bridal party.
Okay. And then, of course, I guess goes hand in hand with that is like celebrating you for those moments where you're like, you are achieved something. Maybe you having a child or getting that job, or
in the group chat.
When you talk about your new job, or you got a cat or whatever. You started an Instagram. You got on TikTok, whatever. I mean, the last two are probably like very niche, silly ones, but still, someone who can be excited for you and celebrate you and things like that. I was gonna say someone who's there during hard times, and I still think that fits. Kind of, it does go hand in hand with other things I was saying, but I'm not gonna say like 100% of the time, because there's gonna be times that you can't show up for people. You have your own life. You can't put yourself aside for every single thing someone's going through. So in a situation where like occasionally they can't show up for you for whatever reason, that's not a sign that they're like a bad person or a bad friend. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's every time you're going through something and they are ghost, nowhere to be seen, probably a chance that they're not a good friend and you should be talking to them. But give people grace, of course. Not everyone can be 100% of what you need them to be all the time. In fact, no one can be 100% of what you need them to be ever. Everyone will fall short, no matter what. May it be your partner, your best friend, your cat, or whatever. Everyone falls short of expectations anyway. And then, do you just enjoy that person's company? Again, I don't necessarily mean that in a very physical way. It can be a physical way. Like, do you enjoy physically being around that person? But do you enjoy being with them, on the phone with them, hanging out, watching a show together, going traveling together, whatever? Do you enjoy being around that person? Which, again, there is caveats with that. Just because you can't travel with someone or you don't like the same show with someone and y'all don't enjoy that doesn't mean you guys aren't good friends. That person can still be a very close friend and y'all just happen to really hate traveling with each other. Or you really don't like going to baseball games together or whatever. Yeah. And then my very last one is if that person is helping you grow in a sense of not necessarily like, they're pushing you to like out of your comfort zone or stuff like that, which I think that is pretty important. But more of like, are they supporting you? Like, are they checking in on you? Are they keeping you on your P's and Q's? Like a lot of my friendships, maybe the person be in school, they have a project, like, oh yeah, how's that project going?
Like accountability.
Like your accountability partner. Are they keeping you accountable, and are they wanting you to be the best version of yourself? Yeah. That could be something simple like, gym time. Like, hey, I didn't see you work out on your on your watch today. What's going on?
My watch.
Okay, like, hey, I noticed that you haven't, gone for your daily walks in like 5 days. Like, everything good, right? So it can be very, very small things to very, very big things. Maybe someone who is experiencing like a mental health problem where you have to check in with them more frequently. I actually had a friend of mine. I think it was during like COVID. They were going through a lot. Like, they lived by themselves. Their parents were like, I think their parents like lived out of state. COVID happened. They lost their job. A lot of shit was happening for them. And they, asked me like, hey, I'm going through a lot. It would really mean a lot to me if you can just check in with me periodically, make sure I'm good. Yeah. I had no problem doing that. It was no issue for me to text or call them like, hey, just checking up, see how you're doing this week. Want to make sure things are going good. Need anything, blah, blah, blah. It can be something super simple, but to them, that's something really big.
And I want to interject there. I think it's important for people to express how you can show up for them.
Yeah.
So they did tell you how you could show up for them.
Right. In a sense. They can't just be like, oh, yeah, I need you to show up for me, but I don't know how.
And they don't say, like, this is what I expect.
Right. But those are some signs that you have a good friend. Or, yeah, I would say
a person who can be
a good friend. Yeah. How about you?
I agree with a lot that you said. I'll say a few because the list really can go on and on. But I would say someone who can hold you accountable for sure. Anyone who is going to just always let you either stay where you are or just be a yes person and never give you the ability to grow in the sense of combativeness. And when you hear combativeness, sometimes you kind of get turned off because it's like, oh, I don't want somebody who's combative. But you do need someone who can offer different perspectives sometimes. So you need someone who's going to be able to ask you, well, did you look at it from this way? Or what does it look like for this person? I think that's pretty important, especially for me. I think someone who falls into alignment with your personal values and your personal beliefs. Like I said before, I have prayed about all my friends. So some people I know for a fact God sent to me, and some people we just are friends. But for me, everyone in some way, shape, or form falls into an alignment. So as long as they fall into an alignment, like let's say, for instance, if you don't like to smoke crack, I wouldn't suggest going to a crack house and getting a friend that does crack.
Probably not.
Honestly. And it doesn't have to be every single value system or belief that you have. But I think the ones that are pivotal in your life, for sure, you need to make sure that they fall into that. I think someone who can show themselves vulnerable and open is a sign of someone who is open to any kind of relationship, right? Because what happens is life will harden us when we go through it, and the experiences that we go through and the aches and pains and the heartbreaks that we go through shape the way that we view the world and all other individuals. And so sometimes that can make people be like, well, I'm not going to open myself up because the last time I opened myself up, this XYZ happened, or I'm going to get you before you get me, sucker. And there takes a level of intention to be vulnerable. So I think if someone is definitely showing you vulnerability, I think they want to be in communion with you. They want to be in friendship or relationship with you, period. I personally like someone who's funny. So I'm a very silly person. I grew up in a very silly household. We have silly jokes. Me and my siblings have silly jokes to this day that we can just text each other something, a gif of something, a line from a movie, and we'll just all bust out laughing. So that's very like something that I look for. You don't necessarily have to be that goofy, but I'm more inclined to, for a friend, someone that I am spending time with in that magnitude, I appreciate when they can be humorous or like funny. You good? Mm-hmm. Is it still recording?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. What else? I'm trying to say a few because, like I said, the list can go on and on. Someone who's honest and has integrity is pretty important to me. I expect people to be who they say they are. And integrity for me is like, it just looks like if you passed away today, I wouldn't go through anything that would make me be like, man, I never knew this person. Like, this is a totally different person that I was in relation with, that was a friend to me. And, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you find out something bad about them, like you found out they murdered somebody. But it's just kind of like, I appreciate when people are who they say they are. Now, that's not to say that different friends get different facets of you, because I do believe in friendship groups in a sense. Like, there are those friends sometimes that you go to when you want to laugh. There are those friends you go to sometimes when you want accountability. There are those friends you go to sometimes when you want another perspective and different things like that. Facets are different than faces. Like, I don't want to see a different face in somebody that I never seen before. So, and you just learn that going through life with people, like seeing how they deal with situations and different things like that. But, and then I guess the last thing I'll say, so I am someone who believes, and I guess this kind of goes back to that opposition, right? Because I'm an optimist, and so some of my friends are pessimists or not as optimistic as I am. But
so for the term realistic, we all can't live in a fairy tale land.
Who lives in a fairy tale
everything
land?
Works out all the time, no matter what.
It doesn't always work out.
So why?
But anyway, it's the ability to get through it when it doesn't work out.
We get through it. Realistic, make it through it. We're just being real about the fact that shit's not gonna work.
Ain't nobody talking about you, first of all.
I'm just defending our pessimists out there because we get a bad rap. We're not necessarily. I mean, there are pessimists, but we're not all pessimists. Sometimes we're just like, okay, what are the odds that I'm going to win this one lottery scratch off? Probably not high. So why am I getting excited?
That's different because in that scenario, I'm a realist too because I know I'm not going to scratch this off and be a millionaire instantly. But I forgot what I was about to say. Okay, I appreciate. You know what? I'm gonna say this. For me, the top thing that I look for in somebody I call a friend is someone who accepts me for me. Who I am, I don't have to worry about being anybody else. I don't have to worry about, are they going to judge me for this? Are they going to look at me crazy for that? Are they going to do that? If you accept me for me, that is an open portal for me. That's an open door. And be weary, or not weary, but be mindful of looking at people who seemingly accept you for you and who actually accept you for you. I'll say for sure that is a great attribute of a friend because at the end of the day, your friend has to accept you for who you are. There's no way you're going to be able to be in that kind of relationship. You're never going to have accountability. You're never going to be open. You're never going to be vulnerable unless you feel accepted. So I say, yeah, accept me for me.
Right. And yeah, my last little tangent on that, as far as knowing you have a good friend or whatever the case may be, is just anybody's capable of anything. So maybe there's no such thing as good friends, honestly. I'd be watching these court cases or whatever recently. Our mutual friend has got me into this world of wildness. Everyone's your op. Everyone has capability of fucking you over. So they may be your good friend, but keep 2.5 eyes open.
That's not being vulnerable, though.
Why would you be vulnerable? So I can get him to?
No.
You want me to be vulnerable.
You don't see. You just.
I can be vulnerable. I can be vulnerable. Mm-mm. However, I will still keep an eye out.
Those two things can't exist at the Yes. Anyone's capable of anything, but if you're going to say you know someone and you trust that, see, it starts with trusting yourself, though. If I trust myself to pick people or see people or understand people, then I can trust that, I trust you telling me who you are. Again, that comes with certain attributes.
And that's how you get hemmed up.
If you living in integrity.
Yes, I know, old girl. We be go back. Cases. Next thing you know, you were in the trunk. Your leg and your arm are separated. You are in the bottom of Lake Lanier. So you may know this person like the back of your hand. You don't know the amount of hairs on the top of their head. You don't know what's deep in that brain. You never will.
That's where the vulnerability comes from, and that's where the integrity comes into. For me, I just feel like I'm going to be honest, for me, that's where discernment comes in. So because I have been able to see someone for who they are before they even tell me. So I'm able to be like, well, you're saying one thing, your mouth, I see your lips moving, but what are you talking about? So, that's for me. I'm able to do that. So I know people are out there and they get hemmed up every day. I've been reading true crime books since I was a child. So Agatha Christie girl, all them murder mysteries, all that, reading, watching. I've always been fascinated with it. I know there's this trend with women watching it, which I don't really know how to feel about that yet. But
because like I said, you'll never know.
I've been watching it. I mean, it's more prominent now, so that does make sense that more people are watching it because it's just everywhere. Netflix had 2 true crime stories 3 years ago. That was When Women Kill and Who the Bleep Did I Marry. Those were the only 2 true crimes that they used to have on that app, and now they got 2020 and all kind of stuff. So of course more people are gonna be watching it, but don't let that desensitize you. That's why I said that vulnerability. You're never what kind of life is it to live on edge? If I'm gonna say I'm gonna trust you, I'm just gonna trust you. If it's my time to die, it's just my time to die. I don't believe that's gonna happen to me, but I'm gonna trust. I mean, you're right. You could murder me right after this podcast.
I considered it.
But
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But that's for me. For me, that's what I consider a friend.
It's just wild to me. Sorry. Them freaking murder mystery things. This is why I don't watch this shit.
I was about to say, they will desensitize you. They'll make you start thinking. I have a very good friend who is a prosecutor, a public prosecutor down in Savannah. And they have to defend murderers. They have to defend all kinds of people because that's their job. They're a public defender, and they're the defendant, not the prosecutor. And they have to defend these people. And it's not necessarily that they want to get them off, because a lot of times they know they did the crime. They may be looking for something that falls into what's fair. But I asked them before, I'm like, how do you not become desensitized when you see things like this? Like, they just told me a wild story about this mother of 4 who got murdered on her porch and all this stuff, prominent member of the neighborhood and all these things. And they were just like, when I walk through my door, I leave that outside. I leave that out there. I don't bring that into my home. So even though I love true crime, I don't put that in my heart. Like, I watch it. It's entertaining for me because I love to learn. So, and I love psychology. Like, this is what I'm going to school for. So I went to school for it, and this is what I'm finishing my doctorate degree in. So it's like, I love looking at the minds and all that, but I'm not going to take that with me into my bedroom, into my living room, into my friendships, because it will scar me. It'll never allow me to be free. I'm bound, because I'm always going to be thinking, dang.
Girl, you're black in America. You'll never be free.
Again, I'm going to just be me. I got to be me. Same OG. Yeah, that's all I got, though.
Cool. We made it to another episode of the Friendship University podcast. As Kristen mentioned, she's doing a $1 million giveaway next week.
Who said that? Now you
basically told these people they were getting something.
So
she set y'all up for failure.
It went from basically a prize to $1 million.
The way she hyped it up. So please,
first of all, you wouldn't even let me give them one.
To get viewers. Yeah. Let them think they're getting $1 million.
I don't want to lie, because what happens when they tune in and I don't got $1 million?
Find out next week.
Find out next week on Friendship University.
Period.
We out.
You ain't gonna tell them how to find us?
Oh God, you threw me off with the Egg McMahon $1 million check showing up to somebody's door. A lot of y'all may be too young. Millie, you actually may be too young to remember that.
I have you know. It's a giant check. I know what it looks like.
Some of y'all may be too young to know that. Okay, you can follow us and find us. We are on Twitter at Funny Podcast. That's FUNI Podcast. We're also on Instagram at Funny Podcast as well. FUNI Podcast. We also have our reviews open on Spotify, on Anchor.fm, on Amazon. You can review us on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you're listening to it, you can review us. It's an easy way for you to be able to support us as we are growing, as we're trying to give you more content. We're really trying to standardize this, really make it big, right? So if you're in support of it, if you enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed any episode, you can rate us, let us know your feedback. If it's bad feedback, just email it to us. Okay, at thefriendshipuniversity@gmail.com.
I can't believe your real ass friend said they like my voice more than yours. You need to beat their ass.
Listen.
They could at least lied.
What? They gave honest feedback. I'm not mad at it. If that's how they feel.
They could have given you feedback of I like Malik's voice. They could have said that. They're like, oh, I like his voice more than yours. Beat their ass.
Beat her ass, Maddie. But yes, we are on all socials. We also are on TikTok at FUNI Podcast. We ain't posted nothing. I'm so sorry. I'm doing my best. What I got. That's what Mariah Carey told me. That is my mantra right now. I'm doing the best with what I got. But yeah, check us out. We're hoping to hear from you. Again, those reviews can be very helpful. And who knows, you leave a review, we may read it on air and let the people know. So check us out. And Malik, you got any final thoughts?
No, I hope you enjoy your music festival.
Oh, God. I got to redo that. Miki, you got any final thoughts?
Didn't you just ask me that?
I said Malik.
Oh, I mean, I've said my name like 6 times at this point.
Oh. I thought we were still doing the aliases.
We've gone back and forth. It is what it is. If my nudes are going to leak, they're going to leak. So, it is what it is. At least I look good. So,
I hope I do too. Come down if you have some time.
To the festival?
Just come to the beach.
Hey, we'll talk about it. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Bye.
Peace.